Hi. Traveling is always exciting and full of new experiences, but sometimes it also comes with questionable surprises. I already made 2 videos where I talked about my adventures. I'll leave the links in the description, so please pay attention. But still I have few stories to tell, so let's begin. On the 1st of June, I went in Lithuania, Vilnius, to participate in the program with different students from other European universities. At the beginning, I was on the phone call with my tutor while buying the plane tickets, except of the fact that I was doing that sitting on the stairs in Palace in Austria, and I was booking the hotel again during the phone call, while sitting in the entrance hall of some random building, this time in Greece. I was able to quickly sneak in while the door was open, because outside was very loud and hot. The educational event itself was just amazing. There were maybe a couple of students or sometimes more from each university. Though it was pretty funny because the representatives of the Italian university was the guy from China and me from Russia. Sounds slightly like the beginning of the joke. Now we will talk about the weird stuff during this travel. Most of the time we were at the university doing different stuffs and activities. Now it's time to speak about the food. Breakfast was included at the hotel, and for lunch and dinner we were walking all together in the different cafes and restaurants in Vilnius. Everything had been already paid for, and there was a set menu. The food was insanely good, and we were eating a lot. Really a lot. But there was one restaurant I still remember for, because the staff there was weirdly rude. And honestly, completely with no reason. Like usual, all the students and the professors met up and sat at the tables. Everyone was talking and socializing, but it was not loud or chaotic or anything. I was sitting with the 2 girls I met during the program, when suddenly a waitress interrupted us and asked about the drinks. We politely asked what we could order, and she replied that there was literally a menu. The problem was that nobody had actually given us one. The woman already looked annoyed, and actually I can understand that, like everyone is a person. She turned around and walked away without saying us nothing. A while later she came back and kinda aggressively dropped the menus onto the table. We quickly ordered our drinks and continued talking. Before that, we had something like an aperitivo, except the fact that it was so huge, filling and delicious that I already genuinely thought that it was the dinner. But apparently then came the actual menu course. They brought us an amazing chicken and we started eating. Then, maybe 20 minutes later, there was tomato soup with a flatbread as another course. At this point, we were completely unprepared for such amount of food, and we were already insanely full. Then the same waitress came over to take the plates, but there was still food left, and suddenly she made this weird comment. In a sarcastic tone, she asked my friend if the soup was really that bad. We all immediately said that the soup was amazing, which was actually the truth, but we just physically couldn't finish it anymore. And she responded with, "Yeah, I can see that." After that, my friend apologized and asked if she could keep the plate a bit longer. When this situation happened, we needed to comfort our friend and explain that it wasn't a big deal, and she wasn't obligated to eat when she didn't want to. The thing is that she's pretty a shy person, so the whole interruption upset and embarrassed her a bit. I don't remember if I mentioned this already, but the only thing we had to pay by ourselves was the drinks we ordered. So eventually there was a whole line of students from our group waiting near. The cashier area was separated by curtains, and while my friend from Spain was standing there, another waitress very rudely pulled the curtain into his face. Again, people were just standing there and waiting. This gesture itself wasn't normal at all. After I paid, the same waitress suddenly asked me about my friend, where she was and when she was going to pay. Which was strange, because still there were plenty of students too. I explained that she was in the bathroom and she would return back and pay for everything. And she told me, "What if she doesn't come back?" At that point, I just paid for her drink too, so they would just finally calm down. There was honestly just so many random negativity in that place, obviously with no reason. But the food was incredible. Here I have no questions at all. I know I have an accent, and now I am actually not even trying to get rid of it, because my main goal is actually just to let the person understand me. But whenever I'm surrounded by people speaking English all day, my accent naturally softens a lot. Our hotel had an amazing bathtub, so I just decided that at some point I'm going to buy a bath bomb and we'll spend one evening relaxing there after studies. So one day, after all activities ended, I went into a store and asked where I can get the bath bombs. And the sweetest sales assistant instantly answered me in Russian and explained where they were. And honestly, I got slightly disappointed, because I felt like my English had finally started sounding more natural. After grabbing the bath bomb, I jokingly asked her how she realized that I spoke Russian and whether my accent was so obvious. And she simply answered me that her English is just not so good, and she just had the feeling that I would understand Russian, which was absolutely true, and honestly, it was pretty cute communication.